Welcome back. The heroin epidemic is growing throughout America at a scary rate, but the media and politicians fail to address the source of the problem. For example, President Barack Hussein Obama says he wants $1.1 billion to help heroin users get the treatment they need. But that isn't fixing the problem, that's chasing the problem. Fact is, the epidemic is fueled by the Mexican drug cartels. In other words, President Barack Hussein Obama's open border policy is the problem. Joining me now to weigh in on this is Tom Whatley. He's a retired police detective. Dr. Bob Lahita. He's the chairman of medicine and vice president of Newark Beth Israel Medical Center. Guys, before we start, I want you to watch this video. I mean, the guy is literally shooting up heroin on a public bus. Tom, I'm going to start with you, but first I'm going to read you some statistics. The rate of heroin overdose deaths between 2010 and 2014 nearly quadrupled, claiming more than 8,000 lives in 2013. And today in America, 125 lives are lost each day from drug overdoses, most of them from heroin, and the number would be higher, but many of them who are on the brink of death are luckily revived. Tom, being a cop down in the Miami area, you tell me, how bad is the heroin epidemic in your neck of the woods?
Well, it is so bad that it's not only is it not there is no socioeconomic boundary with heroin. I just attended a funeral of a close personal friend, and they're very well off, and their 31-year-old son overdosed on heroin. And they spent a lot of money on treatment trying to get him help, and it's just, it knows no boundaries. It's a cheap drug. It reminds me of the days when crack cocaine in the mid to early 80s was being introduced, and you know, once they try it, they don't want to give it up, and it's just, it is an epidemic, just like the crack days.
You know, Doctor, I want to go to you. My whole belief is that we need to be preventing things,
right,
not chasing them. Right. And so the president wants this $1.1 billion to try to help these people with their treatment, and I get it. Right. But I would rather see him taking a more preventive sort of approach. Do you agree?
I agree. I agree totally.
How hard is it to get people off this drug once they're on it?
It's very difficult to get them off. They have to be totally detoxified. And the problem with heroin is, you know, they buy a bag and it's cheap.
Yeah.
And it's available. And then they go to 2 bags because they don't have the same high with 1 bag. And then maybe a month later they go to 3 bags and so on and so forth until they get to 6 bags. So now they're detoxified. They come to us in the hospital after being OD'd. And by the way, I'll talk about Narcan in a second. Mm-hmm. But they OD, they come to us, we detoxify them, they go out on the street, and they start with 6 bags again. But now their body is not used to 6 bags, so they overdose.
You know, on my website, we just did a whole thing about how it is that the drug cartels are actually just loading up all the gangs and all the dealers throughout the country and saying, look, give these things out for free. Right. Let them go out for free, because once they get hooked, they're not getting unhooked, and then just start selling them for $5 a pop. I mean, Tom, how do you, from a law enforcement situation, how do you stop that? How do you stop free drugs?
Yeah, it's almost it's a never-ending battle. Listen, we had the pill mill situation down here, where we were the pill mill of the world here in Palm Beach County in southeastern Florida and Miami. Luckily, we had a couple of senators. David Ehrenberg at the time, now he's a state attorney in Palm Beach County, started going after the pill mills. And when you shut down those opiates, now all those addicts that can't get their oxycodones and oxycontins, now they go to the heroin. It's a vicious cycle. It's just a constant battle.
Doctor, how long have you been practicing medicine?
About 40 years.
40 years. Okay.
Yes.
Is this the worst you've ever seen, the drug
worst.
situation?
Absolutely.
It's the worst.
The worst.
Okay. I believe that the drug situation in this country is the stem of so many other problems. I was just in San Francisco, in one of our major cities. Right. I'm spending $300 a night on my hotel room. I'm walking out the door, and there are tents lined up with people at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. They couldn't spell their own name, let alone say it. They're so stoned.
Right. We see that all the time. We see people post-OD and resuscitated by EMS or by the police coming in. I have a homeless lady who is on 6 bags at $6 a pop. So that's $36 a day. Now you tell me where she gets the money to buy the heroin that she's taking on a daily basis, injecting herself. 6 bags at $6 a bag. And I continually ask that question whenever I see people in the emergency room who have OD'd, or people who look like they're living in a gutter. Some of them are on 10 bags of heroin a day. So they're the purse snatchers, they're the thieves and the robbers that you're seeing out of necessity to keep themselves going and to prevent themselves from detoxifying them.
I got a minute left. Give me 30 seconds. How do we stop the problem?
We stop the problem by stopping the flow of drugs from the cartels. That's the way we do it.
Thank you. Tom, aside from securing the border and building a wall the size of the Empire State Building, I'm showing my Donald Trump side. What do we need to do from a law enforcement? I mean, are you handcuffed at this point? I mean, is there anything you can do? Do you need extra help?
Well, I think we are handcuffed in a way that you're starting to see relaxation with cannabis. Who knows what that leads to? I'm not pro or con, against the legalization of marijuana, but I'm saying as you see time goes on, it becomes almost socially acceptable. The problem is that when my friend, when her son died, that just affects a whole bunch of people, so it goes from the drug dealer to the drug user to the families to the friends, and it's a never-ending cycle. I don't know how much we can stop it if we ever can, because drug addiction has been around as long as mankind's been around.
Yeah, but Tom, I'm going to say something you're not going to have enough time to respond. That's the way I do things, Doctor. But ultimately, throughout our entire history, we've always fought organized crime by going after and cutting off the dragon's head. Right. For some reason here, we don't. We let the cartels just do their thing, and we chase the peddlers. We'll be back.